Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today I'm doing a layout update. It's not really like my official layout, but it's a little diorama I've been making over the past few months. And before this video starts, I just want to say that sorry for no uploads. I've just been lazy. And let's get right into the video. So I've wanted to make a diorama for a while, because I get tired of just watching the trains run around on the map for just like 30 minutes. I wanted to make it look like it's an actual place, like somewhere that you could actually visit, like a heritage railway. That's my goal for the railway, to end up building a layout to look like a heritage railway, where you can just like run any engine and any rolling stock with it. And the railway is actually named the RoseMary Railway. I will go more in depth in the history, because I've actually created history for the railway, and a reason why it has its name. But I'll go in depth into that in another video. Alright, then let's begin. So first thing was getting the baseboard. Now I've actually asked my dad to cut a piece of wood that we had in the porch that we never used. We were originally going to make a doghouse out of it, but we ended up just buying a cheaper, more stable doghouse. We cut a 36-inch by 10-inch board. Now the first step was gluing down a base for the track to sit on. I ended up using a spare poster board that I had from a previous project, and we just cut that out into like an inch wide, so that way it won't interfere with the scenery, and we just glued it down with hot glue since it was what I had. For a few days it was like this because I sort of felt lazy and not decided to glue down any track, but I ended up buying a sizable amount of flexi track, and I just cut it down to size and glued it down with some Elmer's glue that I had laying around. After the track was sturdy and dry and glued down, we started with the ballasting. Now the ballast is not made of any like products from like Woodland Scenics or Hornby or anything like that. I actually used kitty litter from the local pet shop, and it looks pretty good. It's like tiny little rocks. I feel like it adds more variety. It's not so uniform to where every piece of ballast looks the same, and it's very natural looking, so it looks like actual rocks. Some might say that I should have used a more professional method like a ballast applicator, but I don't have one of those, and also I don't plan on buying one. I would like one in the future, but not at the moment. And I just ended up using a little bottle cap to scoop up the ballast and just spread it around. Before the ballasting, I actually considered painting the rails a grimy color, since I thought it would appear more realistic. But I decided not to, since, it was my first time. I didn't feel like that was necessary. Once the ballasting was complete, I used a 50-50 of water and glue to put into a syringe and use as something to glue down the ballast. Huge thanks to my mom for helping me actually glue down the ballast, because I didn't do it properly and it ended up cracking. So once we had glued down the ballast, it actually still came out a little bit cracked. So I ended up going it over again with another thing of ballast and just filling in the areas where there were cracks and gaps where you could see the foam underlay. Once I had redone the ballast, I thought it looked good, so I decided to look for a way to put grass. I had talked to my dad about this, and he recommended that I use a thing of turf, like the one we had at our front door. He works in landscaping, so he has access to quite a lot of materials, so he brought me a nice long stretch of turf that I could use for the grass. Once I had cut down the turf to the right size, I found that it was actually too tall, and one other drawback that it had was that it had these long strings that I had to cut, so I ended up not using it because it was 1, too tall, and 2, it just made a mess. Now the turf looked good, but I ended up not using it since it was too tall and actually over towered the track, so from front view it looked so weird, so I ended up not using it and just buying grass mats from Amazon for like $10. They were N scale because I thought they looked better and more to scale than actual HO/00 scale grass mats. Now at this point of recording this, I haven't actually glued down the grass mat, since I'm still finding out how it would work and how I would make it look good. So I just stuck it down with some blue tack and just a temporary fixing, so that way I could still experiment with it and make it look how I want it to. I plan to use some trees to make it look better, and I'm sort of debating over having a little hill. But what do you guys think? I haven't done anything yet, and I probably won't for the next few weeks, so I'm open to any and all suggestions. And thank you for watching. I've been working on this for a while, and I would really appreciate it for you guys to like or subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!